welcome back. So what I would like to do today is introduce you all to some of the most commonly used lighting instruments. So these are the things that you would have to hang, focus, and maintain in order to make the lighting designs that you've been working on actually come to life. So we're going to be looking at the three most basic types, i.e. the three that I have access to walk you through. We're going to start with this bad boy. Back in college, we used to call these the cannons because of the basic shape, and the ones that we were working with were a lot longer and box shaped. They really did look like cannons or machine gun turrets from World War II bombers. So this is probably the most versatile lighting instrument. So this is called an ellipsoidal. And you can find various types of ellipsoidals. They've gotten smaller. Again, the ones that I worked with way back in the day were a lot bigger. But they've gotten a lot more compact. Why this is probably the most commonly used is, one, it's the most powerful. This projects a very strong beam of light and can do so from a pretty fair distance. This is why we use these in our furthest catwalk, what I call the gun turret, hanging right above the stage. That's the furthest catwalk from the stage, but this light can reach that without much problem. So not only is it the most powerful lighting instrument, it's also the most versatile. There's a lot of things you can do with this instrument to create a lot of different looks. So let's take a little bit of a closer look at this bad boy and talk about some of the features of it. All right, so let's take a look at the back of the instrument. Let's start there. So one of the things you'll notice first is that there are a couple of screws here in the back of the instrument. And what you do is you gotta take this one off, so there's that, and undo this one all the way, and the back of the instrument pops off. And what you're seeing in there, that's the lamp housing. So this is where we would put what we might call the light bulb, only it's officially called the lamp. It would snap right in there. You slap this back in and screw the unit back together, and that's how you replace the lamp. The lamps, I don't have any to show you, are about yay tall and unbelievably powerful. And they heat up to a degree you wouldn't think they could safely get to. It's always important when you're working with these instruments, always make sure you're wearing your gloves. I've had it happen where I've taken one of these off, I'm changing a bulb out, and I was idiot enough to touch the thing with my bare fingers, and it seared the skin right off. Like the skin was on the bulb. So yeah, so don't do that. But this is where the lamp is housed, and this is where it projects the light forward. Let's kind of move down the instrument and take a look at the different features here. So one of the things I mentioned before is that this is one of the most versatile lighting instruments, meaning there's a lot of stuff we can do with this light in order to affect the light that we're going to see on stage. So one of the first things you'll notice is running around the perimeter of the instrument, we have these things, these sliders, see that? So in and out and in and out, and you have these all around on all four sides. Here's the one on the bottom, here's the one on the top, and here's the one on the left-hand side. What these are for these are made to adjust and alter how the beam of light is projected onto the stage. Okay, so let's say this is hanging, the light is coming out, and it's hitting our stage. We're going to use the whiteboard as our stage. So when this comes out, it creates a perfect circle of light. I don't know if you can see that on the video, but we're going to try and pretend like you do. By moving these sliders in and out, you can cut off portions of the lighting, the light coming out. So boom, boom, for instance. So you can get rid of these sections of light that you don't need. So let's say, for example, that this light is hanging, and where it's pointed is at the very edge of the stage, so part of the circle of light that's hitting the stage is also hitting the audience. Well, you don't want that. You don't want the light hitting the audience. So what you would do is, by adjusting the slider, you would move it in until that beam of light cuts off where the audience is. See? Okay, so what you'll also notice, if we look at the very top of the instrument, you'll notice that there's a somewhat deeper cravat right here at the very top, right in front of this top slider. This is a compartment for one of these, okay? This is called a Gobo. Now what you'll notice is that this is a tiny little piece of metal. Let's see if I can get it out of the case. There you are. It's a tiny little piece of metal that has a design that's been cut into it. You can custom order these to have whatever design you want carved into one of these little sheets of metal. So here you can see it's like a jail cell, kind of a window effect. So what you do is that goes into the holder, and the holder goes into the top of the instrument. So now, when we turn this on and our beam of light comes out, that light is hitting the Gobo and it is projecting that image of the jail cell window onto the stage. So this is a quick and easy way to create multiple locations without actually having to change set. And you can get these done with some incredibly detailed little cutouts. I've seen trees and forests, I've seen cityscapes, of course various window sizes, all things that can be used to create a different atmosphere within the instrument, okay? So let's continue and move forward. So once again, with our thesis of this being the most versatile of lights, you'll notice there's another knob right here at the bottom of the instrument. So by screwing and unscrewing this, we can actually move the front part of the light. So there, and back, out, back, out, and back. So what this does, and I'm sorry that I can't actually illustrate this for you, is this softens or sharpens the focus of the light. So right now, if we were to turn this on and project the light onto the stage, it would come out in a very fuzzy, the edges would be very fuzzy. This is used to blend one light into the next so that you can create kind of that general wash feeling on the stage, all right? But suppose that you wanted to use one of these like a spotlight and you wanted the edge of your light to be sharp and very, very clear. Well, then what you'd have to do is adjust the barrel. And I think I actually told you wrong. I believe when it's out like this, it's the softer focus, and when you pull it back, it's the sharper focus. I believe. I could be wrong about that. I haven't used this in a little while. But basically, by moving the barrel here back and forth, you can alter how sharp or how fuzzy the edge of the light is. When you're focusing a light, when you're going through and you're hanging the lights and you're pointing all of them where you need to be, and you're working with the master electrician, they may say, soften the focus or sharpen the focus. That means to move these in and out, in and out, in and out until you get the level that they want. Okay, one other feature that adds to the versatility of this particular instrument. If you notice here at the front of the instrument, you see these little grooves, these little holders, all right? That's to hold one of these. That's a gel frame. This one is too big. I grabbed the wrong one. So I need one that's actually a little smaller. But they slip right in to the front of the instrument. Now what this holds are these. So these are gels, okay? And it's pretty straightforward what these are for. These are to alter the color of the light. So what you would do is you would take the gel, insert it into the gel frame. You would normally need to cut these down so that they fit into whatever size frame you're using. So there you see, and you can see I've got a lot of excess, so I'd probably trim that off. And then that would slide right into the front of the instrument. We would lock it down with this little clip right here, click, hold it in place, so even if the light is focused upside down, that gel isn't going to come out of there. And we can then alter the different colors that we see on stage. So that's how we get that effect. Generally speaking, every light that you hang for design should have some kind of gel in it. These lights are incredibly intense. All the lights we're going to look at are incredibly intense. And if you're shining them right on the actor, it's going to wash them out, all right, because these are really bright white lights. So usually even lights that are just there for a general wash would usually have like some burnt amber in them just to dilute the light a little bit and make it a little bit more tolerable. The different colors of gels are almost limitless. Most lighting manufacturers have a little booklet, kind of like a little swatch pattern thing. This little booklet of all these different types of gels that they make, every different color, and they're thick like this, and you can flip through them, and there are just so many different variations of every single color. If you're feeling adventurous, you can try mixing and matching colors. I wouldn't recommend that. But one of the things you need to take into consideration when you're designing lights is what color you want the light to be and how it's going to affect everything else on stage. Let's take a look. Look at how red this is. That is incredibly red. So imagine how this bright of a red is going to affect a set that's mostly painted blue or black or white or red, you know? Think about how it's going to affect the costumes. A lot of times what'll happen is the set designer will make their 3D model and they'll paint it the colors they intend to paint it. Some lighting designers will have a lighting instrument set up somewhere in their booth along with just a whole series of gels, just so they can take them in and out and see how each gel is going to affect the lighting on the stage, what it's going to do to the costumes, what it's going to do to the set. All right. So again, the ellipsoidal, this is the biggest of the lighting instruments that we have, and it's the most versatile. You can change the color, you can change the sharpness or softness of the light, you can change the design of the light, you can cut off parts so it's not just a solid circle. It's an extremely powerful, extremely useful lighting instrument. All right, so the last two instruments I want to show you are these two bad boys, and they are essentially the same instrument. It's just one is a lot older and one is a much newer model. These are both what you would call par cans. So called because in their original, you can kind of see, look at the shape. All right. So, par cans are small, they're more compact, they throw a really powerful beam of light, but the thing is that unlike the ellipsoidals or the Fresnels, which are another type of light which we don't have any of, so I can't show you, there's not a lot you can do with these in order to adjust the light. The most you can really do is you can adjust the color, of course, with the gel frame. This one actually fits this one, so I can show you a little bit better if I slip it in there. There we go, and there you are. So now that's not going to fall out. regardless of, if the instrument's hanging upside down or something like that. But that's pretty much all you can do. Now, there is a device, which we don't have any of, that I'll try to describe to you. There are a couple devices called top hats and barn doors. And what those are, a barn door is essentially a bit, and it'll slide either into here or it'll connect to the outside of the instrument. And what it is made up of is 4 flaps, much like the sliders on the ellipsoidal. And with those flaps, you can close them off. You can adjust the light a little bit that way. But that's an added on piece that you have to attach to the front. Primarily, this thing is if you just want kind of the basic unsaturated light on the stage. So these are good for creating general washes and filling out kind of the darker corners. You get a nice, powerful beam of light from this, but it's not as good at a distance. You need these to be fairly close up to get the most use out of them. The further back you go, the weaker the light is going to get. They don't have the power of the ellipsoidal. So a couple things I want to show you as it relates to the par cans here. So what you see up top, so that, you probably have seen these before, that's the C-clamp. This is what clamps on to the pipe up in the catwalk that you then adjust to hold on and keep it there. All of these should be equipped with what they call a safety chain, which is literally just that, a chain that you loop around this end as well as the pipe, clip it on, so if this fails, this lamp is not going to fall from the catwalk onto the stage. And let me tell you, I've seen that happen, and it is creepy. I want to show you this back here, since I actually have one of these. So if I unscrew the back here, there you go. Ah, there you are. See that? Now there's the lamp. There's an example of the lamp that I was talking about. So let's see if I can pop that out of there. Nope, not going to come out, so I'm not going to force it. Don't want to break it. All right. So that gives you an idea. That little thing generates all the power in these instruments. And as you can see, you just right in there, fit it back, all right, and there you go, and tighten. All right. So what we have over here is essentially the same instrument, just as you can see, it's a lot older and a lot larger. Of course, as technology goes, things condense. But what I want to show here is if we take the top off and we take this bit out, what you can get a better look at is the actual lens of the par can. Look how big that is. All right. Compare that to the lens that you can kind of see right in there of the ellipsoidal. Okay, so it's a much bigger lens. You're covering a much wider area in a lot of cases. Alrighty, so these, in one degree or another, are the 3 basic lighting instruments that we use here at the school. And the 3 that we use to light our various shows. So I wanted you to at least have a passing familiarity with these instruments, some of the features of them, and what they are primarily used for.